Wow. Just wow. I'll be honest. I've done some incredible things in this life, but what happened over this last weekend was next level. We hosted our first Life on Fire Unbreakable Man 24-hour event, and it was incredible. I really went in with an open mind. I really didn't know, because this was our first. I really didn't know if we were going to get the guys there. And when I say there, I'm talking like life changing. Can I change your life in 24 hours? And we did it. We killed it. It was incredible. I am so proud of all of the guys, all of the men that stepped into that event, for trusting the process, for going through the fire, for being the man they now are, because they were willing to open themselves up to the possibility of something incredible, something totally transformative. And we were able to do that. In today's episode, I interview Khoury. He was one of the men, one of the participants at this weekend's event, and I'm incredibly proud of his story and wanted to share it. And it's really special. So I'm really hoping that you find a lot of value in this. And if you find that this is inspiring, consider sharing this story. Consider sending this episode to somebody who could be inspired by it, that can really take a step in their life and really take command of their thoughts, their feelings, and their actions, and become the man they want to be. Because I really feel called to help men when society is not offering up the potentials and the opportunities for men to heal. I really step in that role, and I feel very passionate about that. I'm very grateful for you for listening, and as always, enjoy today's episode. Let's go. What is up, beautiful humans? This is Dr. Dave Cahotis. I am on a mission to forge strong, heart-centered, and purpose-driven men. This podcast is here to help you stop managing your problems and start breaking free of stress, limiting beliefs, and excuses that stop you from executing at your fullest potential, living with passion, and being the man you want to be. Let's go.
Howdy.
What's
You
up,
hear me?
dude? Yeah, man, I can hear you well. Khoury, man. Welcome. How are you feeling, my friend?
Man, I can't put into words. Like, great is like an understatement at this point. I was looking for good and I went past that.
I love that. That's incredible, man. I mean, like, I'm always honored to hear that and hear stories like that. But I was so proud of the way you showed up. I was so I again, like, I don't even think like proud is even the right word for me either. I mean, you went all in, and you're a completely different man. So for quick context, we just hosted the Life on Fire event, which is an Unbreakable Man event. It's a 24-hour transformation process. And I don't know if you knew what you were getting into
No,
before you came in,
it's
but
funny because I didn't do my research. I didn't look up who you were. I just kind of checked your Instagram out and was like, the words are speaking to me,
I love it. I love it. Yeah, man. So like, what are you experiencing right now? Just like throw it at me, man.
Yeah, a profound joy is like number one. I'm feeling happy and understanding what I was looking to define happiness with.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't be described. I had to truly experience this, like, I'm looking for it. I've just found it. And then I'm witnessing like my family like going to tears for me, and just I don't think it's like a tearful moment until they're crying, and I'm like, wow, like y'all really are getting something from me. And I'm just trying to share what just happened with them at the same time. They're
Yeah.
witnessing this whole new person talking to them.
That's incredible, man. Yeah, like I was really blown away by the text you sent this morning. It was, you had mentioned your father-in-law was in tears. Yeah, like what was that reception like from your family?
They were all curious. They really didn't know what I was doing because I told them last minute, hey, I'm leaving this weekend. I'm doing a men's retreat. And before even showing up, I really couldn't describe to them what it was. So they
Yeah.
were just like, all right, so tell me, what'd you do? And I'm like at first you got to like know who I am, because I'm not the same person that you're about to hear a story from. Like,
Yeah.
and so I just, just expressed myself and like just let all my energy out on them, like to just show them like I'm truly happy. Like we don't have to have a serious talk of what just went down. We can just relax and let me just tell you all these cool things that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And
That's
they're just
amazing.
like they're just going to tears, and my wife's just holding my hands, looking me in the eyes, and she just starts crying because I'm just telling her like you can finally be safe with me and you can trust me now, and I know what that means. I know that's what you were wanting, and she just like completely lost it, and it was awesome.
That is incredible. That like those are my favorite because not only do you get the experience of the transformation, but you can transform your entire family just by you being the beacon of light now for your entire family. And a lot of people were like, "What are you doing?" In fact, I just got out of a off a conversation with another man who's thinking about coming to our full 3 day event. And he's like, "Man, I've been going through counseling for years, and like, what are you gonna do that's gonna be any different?" He was kind of questioning me. And I'm like, "Well, you just gotta show up,
You got to show
and
up and experience it.
you gotta experience it, you know, and so you gotta show up with an open mind."
Yeah.
And I know, like we all like are walking around with stuff, and if you feel comfortable sharing, what were you struggling with, and like who was that man before, and who do you now get to be?
Right. So my whole childhood was full of abuse and abandonment, and I had a lot of struggling relationships, and I realized that when I went after something, I wasn't getting any of the outcomes. I would try to make friends, and I was like, why do they think I'm judging them? Or, my wife being like, oh, yeah, I'm just so hard on her. I'm like, oh, I think I'm pretty graceful for you. It was just like everything was an opposite. And I was just like, why am I going so against the grain? That you really don't know what it means to be a man anymore. You're just like, what am I doing? And the meaning like, oh, lead by example, and thinking that means doing something
Yeah.
is not truly what it's about. It's like showing up for yourself, and just the being
Yes.
is what that means. And that's what I got out of it, was like how to actually show up for yourself, and how others are now like just getting something from me, and I'm not even doing anything. That's the crazy part.
It's the craziest
Up in
part,
like
man.
24 hours, but I'm experiencing a whole new thing 24 hours after you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's also I had a massage booked right after the retreat. So I came home, she came
Okay.
to my house, and I told her, I was like, I just had a somatic release, like I don't know what's gonna happen. And I cried through the entire massage, like happy tears though, like
Yeah.
in my life were coming to me, and I was crying for them because I'd like not let them in the way that I know I can now. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
And that's incredibly brave, man. I mean, I tell this to all the guys. It's like you're not gonna leave my program without crying. Like everyone's gonna cry at least once, when you come through my program. But that's vital to the well-being because we talked about it at the event. It's, the energy is stored in the body. And when
right.
it's held in the body, it's like your body is not a holder of the energy. It's just a processor. It's just there to like experience and then move on. And
Yeah,
for you to really step in and allow yourself to open up, it's like the waterworks open up, man. And it comes out in the most incredible ways.
I
I
didn't
know
think
for
I
you.
could cry.
Yeah.
When my dad died, I wasn't able to cry. I, I
Mm,
I was angry. I was disappointed. We had just got to a place where we were going to start trying again. I saw him for Christmas, and then he died.
mm,
And I never got that closure of being like, what were we about to do? And,
yeah.
and I felt so guilty holding on to that, because I was like, I didn't even cry for my dad.
Yeah.
You and
Yeah.
letting that out, and letting all the abuse and everybody that I was mad with, and like these high expectations of things that maybe they're not ready to be, all just released. And
Yeah.
I just like you taught me to meet people where they are, and
Yeah.
just space for them.
Yeah.
I That was such a foreign thing that I didn't get.
Yeah.
So it's like it's incredible what you can learn and how far you can go in just 24 hours.
It's incredible. I'll be honest. This was our first Life on Fire event, which is a 24-hour Unbreakable Man experience, and I knew I could get you there like in my mind, but obviously
Mhm.
we hadn't done it, and y'all were the first class for this and like the first event, and we got you guys there, and I'm just so grateful that you guys stepped in and you trusted the process, and y'all went for it, man. It was so
Yeah.
so beautiful. What were some of the major breakthroughs, man, or and not just breakthroughs but also takeaways, and just what came through for you?
Yeah. I think the discipline and honor aspect of it, like holding yourself accountable and doing things because you want to do them and you want to feel a certain way,
Yeah,
it's super important to getting the kind of outcome you're looking for. It's like one of the things you taught was if you want, the universe will give you more want.
yeah,
And that's not the outcome you're actually looking for. Like if you want more money, the universe is just going to show you more ways to want that money instead
yeah.
of actually giving you the outcome you're looking for. And so now it makes you really think like I do have the power to manifest these things and bring these things to my life. It's all about how I look at it and how I talk about it.
Absolutely. And yeah,
Speak
how
it
we
to the
show up.
truth.
And that's one of the main things. I mean, I like to give it away in a bit, which is, if you can command your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, you're just going to get the life that you want. Like that's what we want. And I called you guys out on something, and this is always really interesting. And a lot of guys don't even realize they're doing this. Like they're living a good life. Like on paper, it's good. Like I had the house and the cars, and they have a
Right.
paycheck, and they have like, it's things are good, but underneath the surface, they're not telling the truth, and there's something there. And so, early on, and when you guys came in, I simply a life satisfaction questionnaire. That was it. It was just like, all right, rate yourself relative to your standard where you are, and you got to know, like you can't get there until you know where you are, right? And then we can create a direction. And then I asked the question, and then we kind of went up the scale of like, well, if you're at a 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And then I asked you guys like how many of you are enforcing, boundaries around those areas, and nobody raised their hand. And then it was like, exactly, like we have to go into that part. And like, why are we holding back? Why are we resisting? What is the thing that's stopping us? And when you tell yourself the truth, which is tough, it's so hard, but when you tell yourself the truth, it's it's like the entire universe opens up for you because you're willing and able to experience whatever you need to experience, and you did, and you allowed yourself to experience, and maybe it was grief, maybe it was sadness, maybe it was guilt or shame, and you open yourself up to it. And now
All of that.
exactly, and you opened it. It's like you open that door, you're like, all right, I'm willing to feel that feel, right? Like I'm willing to feel the shame, I'm willing to feel the grief, and you let it go, and it comes out in the most incredible ways. But then on the back end, like, I mean, you tell me, man, like, what are you feeling now? It's like this is the best.
Yeah, it is the best. Those ways that it comes out are insane. I know at one point I was trying to like just hit the floor as hard as I could, and my
Yeah,
arms were just locked.
yeah,
Like there was so much resistance in my body, and like my hands are all clammed up, and I'm just trying to hit the floor. And then at some point, I just like I feel like I died and came back, and like my hands were loose. I could
yeah,
move my hands again, but I
yeah,
didn't feel the same anymore. And like it's literally like a light went out and a new light came on. It's
yes.
hard to really put into words like I still know who I am, but I feel more sure about who I am now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And what you're describing, the process, and I give this away, is it's called somatic release breath work. It's a breath work process where we get down into the soma, which is Latin for body. We get to the root cause of whatever the resistance is, whatever the blockage is. And you were mentioning you were feeling like this like tension and these things. And then you get down in there, it's like you pull the root out of the weed, from the weed, and then it's gone. And then you said something that I was like, I loved it. It was like, I don't even know. It was you had a better way to put it. It was,
Oh, I know what I said.
yeah, you tell me.
I was like, I'm listening to these words come out of my mouth, and I don't even recognize the sound of this man talking.
Yes, yeah. It's
It's
like,
not me talking. It's somebody else. It has more bass or it's louder.
Yeah,
You
it's like
know?
your true self. It's like a whole new self, which was your whole self.
Yeah.
And I love the way you put that because a lot of times we have these voices in our head, and not a lot of times, we always have voices. Everybody's got voices in their head, and what they don't realize is that's not actually them. It's like some version of them that is trying to play a game out, and they don't like that version of them. And so it's like you want to get down into the root, man, just pull it out, dude. Pull it out. I love that your experience then when you came home too and you're in the massage, like you let yourself release and continue, and that's very vital, you know. And like the that's why like when I would be doing body work with people, they'd be crying on the table because it would be a safe space for them to release. And yeah, man, talk me through like what the future potentials are going to look like for you now that you get to be who you want to be.
Yeah. So next thing is doing, I'm setting goals and objectives. I have, these 6 areas of life that I'm really trying to bring up to a 10. So I got my wife on board. She's gonna rate her life and let me in. And then we're just gonna work together to, collaborate and go through this process together. And my in-laws live with me too. Everybody's like wanting a piece of this pie now. And so I'm just looking forward to this like transformation because it's so
Yeah,
beautiful and
yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
So that's where we're at now, It's just we're all in awe and we don't want to turn back.
I love it, man. That's exactly it. Once you unlock the box and you step out and you're like, "Oh my God, I had no idea the world is in color," and it's like a whole new experience. It's super powerful, man. I love that. And so if you had like what was your favorite part? Let me ask you that. It's just like more of a personal question.
Sure. I think the I think the somatic breath work was probably my favorite, even though it wasn't the most intense part.
Okay.
It wasn't the most. I really think the second ceremony, the on the second day, was really where a lot like really happened. But
Yeah.
the somatic breathwork release was like my first time in probably 15-20 years crying,
Yeah.
you know, or screaming that loud and just letting it all out. And there was no feeling of like, are people hearing me scream? Like, am I like distracting? It was a completely vulnerable experience that I'd never had. And
Yeah.
it holds such a special place now in my heart because of the witnessing and the acceptance for that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's obviously like we know I know the formula, but from a insider perspective of your perspective, what really you mentioned like the witnessing and the allowing, what was it for you that really helped you turn that page? Because I know like it was really that moment. I'd remember like who you were before and who you were after that experience because that was the transition. It was like the bridge, if you will. So
Right.
what was your experience with the breath work specifically?
I guess there was something about it. Your mind gets so focused in and you're able to like really kind of peel away the layers, so to speak. And so truly being able to recognize these feelings and then truly letting them like overtake me or like surrender is the kind of the word we were using a lot.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like surrendering in the breath work and just letting the process happen was the
Yeah.
big takeaway because that's when I went to the massage right after, I didn't feel her hands digging into my body and like me going, oh, right there. It was more
Yeah.
of I completely surrendered to that and I was able to sit with the painful moments as if they were like comforting me.
Yeah.
That's the big takeaway I got was like sitting with the pain or the anxiety is truly how you like cleanse it. Is like get to know it,
Nice.
like see how big it can be because like it's really not going to be as big as you are afraid it's going to be.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. It's not going to be as big as you're afraid it's going to be. That's so true, man. And you know the process that we teach it, you know, if there's like the I guess like a thing that I like to teach, it's just how to be adaptable in your mind, body, and spirit so that you can be the man you want to be, you know, at the end of the day. It's super special, man. I'm like really excited for you, man. Like when you came in and I knew it. I was like, oh man, we're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. And
Oh
to
yeah, you
see
got me.
see the way the man you are now, man, it's like I'm just so grateful to be a steward of this work and this formula and what we're doing. And I know it's gonna help a lot more men. So I appreciate you sharing your story. Is there anything else? I mean, if you were talking to a guy that's thinking about joining our program, is there anything you would tell them?
I would first tell them like you don't have to carry these painful events in your life and all this, shame, guilt, or anxiety. Like there's a way to get it out and to completely let it go, because all of us men have something that we're carrying and that we're shameful for or guilty for. And there is a process to getting that off your body and out, and so that you can feel like you're freed from any of those bad thoughts or memories that you carry. So, I told my father-in-law this morning that the universe aligned for him, and he's like, "Oh, really?" And while we were on our walk yesterday, he was like, "I want to do somatic breath work. I think that would be good for me." And I was like, "Yeah, it would be." And then this morning you text me that event, and I was like, "I'd be damned. This aligns because he is only off on random days,
Oh
and so
yeah,
this Thursday, so he can make it Wednesday night." And I'm like,
perfect.
"Dude, you said you wanted to do it, and like the universe said, "Oh, here's a perfect schedule for you." You didn't say you wanna think about it or anything. You just said, I would do that."
Yep,
And here you go. Do
yep.
it.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. That's incredible. Yeah, and that's the power of this work. And yeah, we have a lot of different offerings on my end. It's obviously we like to do that breath work, as just like a one off because it's so powerful. And I just think the entire world needs that. I mean, if anything, everybody should just go through one somatic breath work practice in their life, and I get people to come back. Like you'll notice that life sends you pressure. That's just part of life, man. It'll send you stress. And so just kind of like a deep clean every once in a while, just go in
Yeah.
and get it done. And it's I'm really excited, man. I'm really excited that you are the man you want to be now, and you can be that beacon of light. It's so healing, when you are
Yeah.
who you want to be. And you were mentioning, you're like, I don't have to do anything. Just by me being who I am, like literally your wife was crying, your father-in-law is crying, it's like everybody can feel that weight and that pressure release from their body. You literally heal just by being you. That's so dope.
I think my therapist is gonna come. I went to therapy today, and he was just like, "Really? And what else did they do?" "Oh, yeah, I support that. Hmm. What's that say
I
on the back
told
of your
you.
shirt?"
I told you, dude. I was gonna tell you. I love it. I was gonna tell you, man, when you went to your therapy today. I was like, bro, your therapist's gonna come to my event. Like, I just know it. I just know it. That's how powerful this is, man. I love when therapists come to our events because they realize they're like, oh shit, like this is the good stuff. Like it's the
Yeah.
deep process. And so yeah, man. If any man is out there listening and you know that you're ready to step in and step through, then sign up. We're here for you.
Yeah, I really hope you do have another 24-hour event, because I could think of a handful of guys I'm already ready to give this, to.
Yes, it's going to be powerful, and I do feel called to continue that 24-hour event. I think that was really special, to be able to get it done, and we're early, man, in this whole genesis. I knew I wanted to create something that was more approachable, because our big program is $5,000, and it's the real deal. I mean, it comes with coaching in 90 days, and that's the 3-day event as well, and it's a deeper dive, but it's this 1-day event. It's approachable, and I think a lot of men can get through it, and it'll be powerful, and it's so good,
There's a
so
lot
good.
of value in it.
Yeah, tons of value. Actually, one of the guys that came out, one of the other guys that was there, he's like, man, like this was so cheap compared to what I got out of it. He was like, yep, it's my hope, man, is just add that incredible value to y'all's lives. And it's like, I mean, I know you probably spent way more money on therapy over a few
Oh,
years.
yeah, yeah.
In one weekend, one day, 24
Yeah,
hours, man.
24 hours,
Transform,
lifetime of therapy.
transform, man. Yeah, man. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, we'll sign off here,
Cool.
and you and I are
Appreciate you
gonna
so much,
keep chatting. Hang on.
man.
We'll see y'all.
Cool.
Let's go.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Unbreakable Man podcast. If you found this episode valuable, then go ahead and leave a 5-star review explaining how this podcast has helped you so more people can find it. If you want to be a part of the Brotherhood, then click the link in the description below. You can also check out the Unbreakable Man experience if you're ready to face a deeper challenge and change your life for the better in just 3 days. All right, guys. Thanks again for listening. I appreciate you. And as always, stay unbreakable.